And welcome back once again inside the Edward Jones chatting cage on this Friday afternoon. Our guest at this time is quite simply one of the greatest second basemen in the history of the sport, a former MVP, a 10-time All-Star, and a 2005 inductee into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. He is none other than Rhino himself, Ryne Sandberg, joining us today. And Ryne, thank you so much for the time. And of course, you're there in Cooperstown at Doubleday Field as part of the 8th Annual Hall of Fame Classic, and you're amongst many of your counterparts from your heyday in the 80s and the 90s. And quite simply, how much fun are you having right now?
We're going to have a good time here. It's going to be a great weekend. The fans are out, and it's starting with a youth clinic right behind me in about a half an hour, about 200 kids on Doubleday Field, and with some instruction. And we'll take it to a game tomorrow with former Major League players. I believe it's almost one player from each team from their alumni, and then some Hall of Famers like myself coaching them and leading them away. So it's expecting a big crowd tomorrow, and then on Sunday we have a golf tournament early in the morning. So we'll be having a lot of fun out here. The weather's great, and it's always good to be back here in Cooperstown.
Yeah, the players having fun, and the fans, a dream weekend for them. So a lot in store the next 2 days in Cooperstown, New York for sure. Ryne, we're going to start on Twitter. As again, fans, there's two ways to get involved, either through the webcam by clicking on the Get In Line button, or if you're camera shy, no problem there. Submit your question via Twitter using the hashtag Chatting Cage. And Ryne, like I said, we're going to start on Twitter right now. The Twitter handle, Lakeside845. We're going to put you right on the spot, Mr. Sandberg. Is this the year that the Chicago Cubs finally go all the way?
You know what? I believe that this team was put together to go a long way and to get to a World Series. I was there in uniform in spring training, and being around the players and Joe Madden and the coaches and the front office, the players and everybody in the dugout talks about their goal going to a World Series this year. So, you know, I have to jump on that and give. And pull for them. I think they have a team that was built to go a long way this year, and I do believe that this is the year.
That would be the parade to end all parades if the Cubs can pull it off here in 2016. Our fingers crossed for that, certainly. Ryne, right now our first webcam fan is ready to go. So fans, state your name, your question, and your question again for Ryne Sandberg.
Hey, what's up? This is Chris from New Jersey. I just want to ask, what was it like playing with one of my favorite players, Andre Dawson, and what are some other players you really look forward to playing either for or against?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. The Hawk was one of my favorite teammates. You know, he played hard. He played the right way. He was the first one to the ballpark and the last one to leave, and that was due to a couple of knees that he really had to stay on top of. He had to put extra time in, extra work in. He did that, and once the game started, he didn't miss a beat. And he was a guy that was out there every day, and I enjoyed playing second base in front of him when he was the right fielder for the Cubs. And that season that he had in '87, when he hit 49 home runs, was one of the best seasons that I'd seen from a teammate of mine. Very impressive, and glad to see that he's going to be here this weekend so we can hook up and reflect on those days that we had together.
I think some fans tend to forget just how awesome and how incredible Andre Dawson was in his heyday, and a great answer there from Ryne Sandberg about his former teammate. Ryne, right now we go back to Twitter, the Twitter handle Bowling60, and a good one here. They want to know, what do you think about the rule changes on slides into second base implemented for this season?
You know what? I played in an era where it was free game out there, and it was part of the game for a base runner to knock down an infielder, even go out of his way early on in my career, go out of his way to take out and break up a double play. So that's how I was brought up in the early 80s. I did see the modification towards the end of my career as far as the slide and the base runner needed to be one arm length and be able to touch second base on the slide. And you know what? With the money that these players are getting paid, and I know that the fans want to see their players and even the opposing players being out there on an everyday basis and cutting down on serious injuries. I understand that part of the game today, along with the collision rule at home plate. So, you have to adjust a little bit with the times, and I think that's where we're at. But once again, I kind of enjoyed the era that I played in, and the hard-nosed play as far as breaking up a double play and making it tough on those middle infielders.
Yeah, different game and a different era, that is for certain. Right now, Ryan, we go up back to the webcam. Another fan is ready to step inside the Edward Jones chatting cage and swing away. So, fans, state your name, your location, and your question for Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg.
I'm Matthew from New Jersey. Now I want to know, what was it like to have your number retired by the Cubs?
Matthew, thank you. That was one of the greatest moments in my career. It came a couple of months after I was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2005. So to see the flag go up there at the time with Ernie Banks and Billy Williams and Ron Santo, I was actually in uniform for each of those inductions and those retirement days for those players. So to see my number go up there with them was a big thrill and really icing on the cake for my career. And still today, when I go to Wrigley Field, as I'm the full-time ambassador for the Cubs, I check that flag out often down the right field line, and brings back great memories of teammates and years and all the games that I played at Wrigley Field.
And we saw just a few nights ago how emotional it was for Wade Boggs when the Red Sox retired his number 26, and I'm sure those same emotions were felt for you when the Cubs gave you that same honor years ago. Ryan, right now it's time for the EDJ question of the day, which is, what stands out most to you from your Hall of Fame induction ceremony 11 years ago?
For me, it was standing in front of the members, the Hall of Famers, being welcomed into that group. But as I was up there giving my speech and talking about having respect for the game of baseball, just knowing that those players were behind me, and I occasionally would hear a little something back there, or I could almost hear them nodding back there, but I was well aware of their presence, and it was a big thrill for me to stand in front of them and talk the game of baseball the way that I knew it, and also to know that I was going to be joining and was a member of their team from that point, and that goes on forever. So it's really the greatest team I consider in all of sports, the Baseball Hall of Fame, and it's a privilege, and it's good to be part of that team.
A thrill for you, no question. A thrill for Cubs Nation. Cubs fans, some of the most passionate in baseball, to say the least. Right now, another fan is ready to go on the webcam. So, fans, state your name, your location, and your question for Ryne Sandberg.
Hi, Ryan. My name's Jeremy. I'm from San Francisco. My question is, what is it like to be named a team ambassador like you were just named to the Cubs organization? What is it like to be back with that organization in that role?
Hey, Jeremy, thank you. It's the right place for me right now, rejoining the Cubs organization, and for a lot of different reasons. My wife and I have 5 kids, and right now 4 of them are in the Chicagoland area, and we have 6 grandkids as we speak, and we're expecting 2 more by the end of the baseball season. And at that point, 7 of them will be in the Chicagoland area. So it works as far as the family goes, and to be back with the Cubs, the team that obviously went into the Hall of Fame with the hat on and spent my career. Chicago is also a home for me. So we also made the full-time move to Chicago in Lake Bluff, Illinois. So to be the ambassador of the Cubs and especially have a chance to watch their young players and watch their quest to get to a World's Championship, I'd like to be a part of that.
Well, Ryan, the fans are coming fast and furious on this Friday. Another fan on the webcam is ready to go momentarily. So, fans, once again, please state your name, your location, and your question for Hall of Fame inductee Ryne Sandberg.
Hi, I'm Joseph from New York, and my question is, in your opinion, what's the most memorable moment of your career?
You know what? as a team in '84 and '89, we went to the playoffs, and I think those two nights when we clinched as a group and celebrated on the field and had a chance to go to postseason, I think those two nights were the biggest thrill in uniform. And then I believe going into the Hall of Fame and then having my number retired also post-career were big thrills. So there's some to choose from, and I think they're all very good.
Okay, Ryan, right now we go back to Twitter, and this is from Ryan Clark _10, RYNE. And his question is, Mr. Sandberg, I was named after you, but who were you named after?
Well, Ryan, I was named after Ryne Duran. He pitched for the Yankees in the late '50s. I was born in '59, and he was a very good pitcher. He wore very thick glasses, and he was known to be a little bit wild with his pitching. So I think a lot of times when he came in to warm up, he'd throw his last warm-up pitch and hit halfway up the screen, and then have the hitter thinking that maybe he couldn't see through those glasses and he couldn't see home plate. So I think that worked to his advantage, and I was named after him. My parents were sports fans and baseball fans at the time, and they happened to be in Minneapolis, and the Yankees came in to play the Twins, and Ryne came in, and I believe that night he threw 3 shutout innings, and the headlines the next day in the local paper was Ryne shuts down the Twins. So I was named after Ryne Duran.
And I'm sure many more Ryans in the Illinois area over the past few decades or so. I think that goes without saying. And right now another fan is ready to go. So fan, once again, please state your name, your location, and your question for Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg, please.
Thanks so much. Hey, Rhino, how's it going?
It's going good.
Good. Hey, I've been a fan of yours since I started getting into baseball about 20 or 35 years ago. My son has been wearing number 23 since he started playing t-ball, and I was just curious, what was the significance of number 23 to you coming up through Little League and perhaps into your pro days? And then the second question I have is, what was it like playing under the lights at Wrigley Field for the first time?
Good questions. Actually, I got 23 when I joined the Cubs, and that happened to be the number that was hanging up in my locker. Back when I broke in '82 as a rookie, it wasn't like today where young players could come in and dictate what number they wore. So the clubhouse guy from the Chicago Cubs, Josh Kawano, chose number 23 for me. 2 years later in '84, Michael Jordan wore 23 in the city of Chicago for the Bulls. So it was a pretty good number that was chosen. And I forgot the second part of your question.
I think the second question was the experience of playing under the lights for the first time at Wrigley Field, that historic night for the Cubs organization.
Yeah, you know what? That was a big night. The date was 8/8/88, and so I had played 6 years all-day baseball up to that point. It was a little bit strange at first to see the lights and also to see the lights on the scoreboard and on the concourse as I was playing second base, to look in and see lights now behind home plate up there in the concourse area, and also just to see the lights at Wrigley in general. It was a very necessary move for the Cubs at that time. It allowed the Cubs to have the All-Star game under the lights, primetime TV in 1990, which I played a part in that as the starting second baseman, and also allowed postseason baseball under the lights. So at that time, it was very necessary. It was a big thrill at that first night game, and I'll never forget my first at bat when I was introduced, and there was a huge roar, a little bit different than much different than any normal game when I was introduced, walking up to home plate. Well, what had happened was Morgana, the Kissing Bandit, was running in from the outfield, and I was number one on her list to get to give me a kiss at home plate. So fortunately, by the time she got to first base, security had taken her off, and then it was 38,000 booing the whole situation, and this all happened before my first at bat. I actually hit a 2-run home run that first at bat to take the lead 2-1.
What a remarkable story. And for some of the younger fans out there, Google Morgana the Kissing Bandit if you're not familiar with her and her hijinks. But Ryne, what a great way to wrap this one up on this Friday afternoon. Our thanks to Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg for his time in the Edward Jones chatting cage. And Ryne, the Cubs are playing some day baseball right now. We'll let you catch the last few innings there. Have a great time tomorrow and enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Thank you so much again.
Appreciate that. Thanks to the fans.
Absolutely. And fans, you can join us again right back here next week on MLB.com for the very next Edward Jones chatting cage. So long.